Hello and welcome to Giant Mess, a sloppy sports and entertainment talk show that's all over the map. We cover Giants football and Mets baseball, movie reviews, TV show recaps and reactions, and some funny stories along the way. It's hosted by Giant Mess, that's me, the Real Cinch Neal Lynch. On today's episode, we're going to talk about a whole lot of life coming your way. I haven't talked to you guys in a hot minute. It's been 4 or 5 weeks, maybe even 6 weeks. A lot of shit's happened in that time. There was Thanksgiving week, my brother-in-law's 40th, surprise 40th birthday party, a pig roast. What? We went on a freaking cruise to the Nassau, Bahamas, Coco Cay. There was a bunch of holiday parties mixed in for good measure. And some more parties, kids parties to be specific. And then we're leading up to Christmas. We're recording right before Christmas, and it's gonna be a brutal one. I'll tell you why in a hot minute. So with that, let's get it started. So the last I left you guys, it was right after returning from my trip to Pullman, Washington to visit a college buddy. Went to see Washington State college football game, got to tailgate, and got to try and relive my 20s, and it failed spectacularly. But after that, I had to do my last will and testament. Not something you want to deal with. A lot of people don't want to deal with it, because what does it mean? It means like, hey, you're dead. This is what happens after you die. And you're dead, so things can go awry, and you're like, what are you going to do about it? But there's this legal document that you put together that tells people, hey, don't do this, don't do that, do this, do that, don't do that. And so I had to get that done because I had a lot of people in my life harping on it. Like, you got to make sure that you look out for Brielle, your daughter. And so I said, okay, let's do this thing. And so I put a lot of onus, a lot of the weight on my sister to handle pretty much everything. And I don't think I was like, so you cool with that? Like, I'm about to sign this paper. You're like the sole person in charge of all this crap, the executor. You cool with that? And she's just like, I don't want to think about you dying. I want to think about you being dead. So, and she has 3 kids of her own. So it's like, oh, 4th. Yeah, we'll just bring a 4th into the mix. Why not? Of course, that would only happen if my ex were to perish as well. But it's a lot of responsibility put on someone that already has way too much responsibility. So that was, a little depressing to carry out. And it was just like, okay. And it was also like my mind started to snowball a little bit, an avalanche, because it was like, okay, so if I got into some weird hypotheticals. It was like, so if I die and then my baby mama die, and then my sister dies, and then my brother-in-law dies, and then my mother dies, and then it's just like the chain of death is never ending. And what happens to Brielle in that instance, in those like crazy instances? I mean, we didn't go down the rabbit hole that much, but it is like, oh, okay. But that could happen. It's got like a 0.0001% chance of happening, but it could happen. And what happens in that instance? And even the last will, the lawyer was just like, dude, it's like, you being serious right now? Like, we can't just go all the way down the lineage here with all these friggin' scenarios and instances, but got it done. So at least, I'm not leaving Bree, my daughter, out to dry. And she'll be hopefully taken well care of in the unfortunate event of my passing. I mean, she still has her mom, so it's like the odds of. But it was it's a little tough because it's like you don't want to think about dying and what happens after you die. But it's like and my estate, as it were, right now, not very big. It's not a big estate. I don't even know if you can call what I have an estate. It's like a box, it's like, here's my box and there's nothing in that box. It's just, but she can have it. She can have this box that's empty with fresh Wyoming air. So, that was like, well, what about all your personal belongings? And it's like, I had to throw in a couple things where, if I didn't My mom would castrate me, which is sad because I'm in my 40s and I'm already thinking about my mom neutering me. That's not good. So, but it was like, yeah, she can have the stereo. That stereo, that's hers for sure, for sure. And that's it. And she, so, but the benefit, so, yeah, you start to get in your middle age time process and it's like you gotta start thinking about that stuff, so it's just good to get it done. Had to drive like an hour plus to get it done because my brain was still in COVID times where it's like everything's virtual. So it's like, hey, divorce lawyer that's not close to me and then I've never been in your office before, do you have a reference to like someone who can handle this last will stuff? And she's like, yeah. And it's like someone that's right by her that's not by me. And I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm still in COVID brain times. So I'm like, all right, so we'll just Zoom and all that stuff. And the woman's like, no, you actually have to be here and sign it in front of me. And we have to have a witness. So yeah, you got to get your ass here. So I had to drive like an hour there, hour back. And I was ready to, I was about to say end my life. No, dude, that's not the proper wording. It was like, I was ready to get turned after that. I was ready to live it up after my, carrying out my death sentence or whatever the hell happens after I die. So I had a free popcorn and drink at AMC, which was pretty sweet because of my birthday. And went to see Black Adam, which was fine. And now after, it was like there's a little bit of hope in that post-credit scene or mid-credit scene with Superman. Like, okay, maybe they're trying to turn this thing around. And then James Gunn was hired as the head of DC Studios, and he was just like, "No, y'all gone. We're wiping this slate freaking clean." Which I hope to talk about that in a future episode because there was I was looking at the future projects for DC Studios, or I guess it's now called DC Studios. I don't know what it was called before. But there were some interesting titles in there, like maybe 2 or 3 that I was like, ooh, it kind of piqued my interest. But I don't know if it's gonna continue with James Gunn at the helm. But it sounds like they're in the right hands now. I also got $25 off at Zenleaf, this dispensary that's right down the street. Very clutch. So picked up some nice edibles and was able to enjoy myself after coming home from the movie theater. By the way, I tried to bring out this flask to sneak alcohol. Like I really do think that I have completely regressed to my early 20s when it was like I would go and smuggle alcohol into movie theaters. And so I tried to pour alcohol into this flask. The flask apparently has a leak now because it's a century old. It's a millennia old. So that sprung a leak and I was just like, what am I doing with my life? Like, this has got to end. No more of this. Stop it. So, but I do need a flask. So if anyone, I know it's last minute for Christmas, but I could use a flask. And then that's Saturday. My daughter's mother went to the Rutgers Penn State game at Rutgers, and so I offered to watch my daughter. And I feel like I bring that up because I feel like that's a good. All right, there you go, Neil. It's not an olive branch by any means. I don't think I'm ever going to really extend an olive branch. There's still a lot of hate in my heart, but I do think being a little more flexible when it comes to this arrangement will only benefit the both of us in the long run. And how many times have I heard, it's for the children, it's for my daughter. Like, you got to look out for your daughter. So it's like, all right, I get it. And then, so it was fun to have her for a day-ish. We get to hang out and enjoy each other's company, which is cool. And then went to Applebee's, which I have not been to an Applebee's in quite the time. I used to work at Applebee's. I used to be a waiter at Applebee's. Yeah, believe it. I was a server at Applebee's back in the day. I want to say 2002, right after graduating college. That fall after graduating college, I was a server at Applebee's. And kind of ruined Applebee's for me. There's a lot of skeletons in that closet. There's a lot of... you get to see how the sausage is made, literally, and it ain't pretty. And there's a lot of you get the peek behind the curtains. I don't know that I needed that. And it took me 20 years to get over it and to go back. Because I tried TGI Fridays, the Fridays by us. And I just remember TGI Fridays being the freaking shit in high school. Like, it was the place to go. It was hopping. It was, and it was like, you go there and it's just like, there's all this crap on the wall and there's a lot of colors and activity and like it's bustling. And I mean, I go this one at the mall, the market fair by us, and it is like destitute. It's like a child star that has grown up and has just fallen off the deep end. Like, it's just, whoa, dude, what happened to you Fridays? But you were doing so great. And then what happened? Tough times. Like, they're all about whiskey glaze now. Like, everything's freaking whiskey glazed. Like, let's just pump the brakes on the whiskey glaze. Like, do you have anything that's not glazed with whiskey? That'd be great. But, because we went this past week and it was just like the whole restaurant is freaking empty. And it still took 2 hours to get there, order, eat, and get our check and pay and leave. 2 freaking hours. What are you doing back there? So, but we went to Applebee's that Saturday and we ate good in the hood. I overcame all the trauma that I suffered as a server there 20 years prior, and we were able to enjoy ourselves. So that was nice. And I think I wouldn't mind going back. I'll say that much. Fridays, I don't know. I might be out. Although they do have 50-cent wings on Mondays. And it's just like, you've heard me bitch and complain about the price of wings. Like, it's just freaking out of this world. And so to have 50-cent wings, it's like, I'm going to do some damage. They could be the worst wings in the world, but it's like, it's a bargain, dude. You can't pass up on that. And you'll see how much my love for wings, how far that love will go later on in this episode. So, Thanksgiving week, going down to South Carolina, packing for this trip was impossible because I had to pack for like 3 different climates. It's like packing for the cold on the way down, the cold on the trip back, the weird, like, kind of in between space that is South Carolina. Because it's like, it's not, it's the South. So it's not going to be, 20, 30 degrees, but it's still going to be it's in that in between temperature climate where it's like kind of warm in the day, but like a little chilly at night. And then the cruise, we were going on a cruise after, after Thanksgiving, we were going to go on this 4-day cruise, 5-day cruise. I guess 4 days. And so the cruise is like, we're going to the Bahamas. So, well, you got to pack like hot climate type stuff. So my brain just glitched as I'm packing. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I've never had to pack for 3 different climates over the course of like, this is going to be 10 plus days, 12 days. And it's like, yeah, I do have access to a washing machine, so I probably could have recycled some stuff, but I also got to pack for Bree, like my daughter, in that instance. And it was just like, I was like, I eventually hit a wall, and my bag was overfloweth with clothes. And I was like, well, I guess I'm going to pay the heavy baggage fee, which is basically the price of a freaking ticket now, like $150 plus at least. So that was not fun. That was like, all right. And then and you pack, and in the heat of the moment as you're packing, you're like, whatever, this will work. And then you unpack and you're like, what the fuck is this? What did I do? What? So I ended up, as I mentioned on a previous episode, I have sworn off Spirit. I can no longer do Spirit. They're dead to me. I don't know what's in their last will and testament, but hopefully it's not, even if it is free tickets for life, I'm passing, hard pass. So I'm and the other options to go down to Myrtle Beach are just out of control. I think it's United Airlines is the only one that offers nonstop flights, and it's 2 to 3 times the price of what Spirit was. So I rented a car. Screw it. I rented a car and we drove overnight to South Carolina, me and my daughter. Picked it up at the old Trenton Airport over there, which is shady as hell, going to this rental car place. Cause it's like, I don't even know, is this legit? like there's no signs. It's just like they basically someone wrote in crayon on a loose leaf paper and then tacked it to the wall. It was like, rent cars here, and like cars has a Z and here's misspelled. It's HEAR. Like that's what I'm dealing with this rental car agency. And this freaking dude, they're both foreign, and they were nonstop trying to get me upgraded to everything, dude. It was like, hey, would you like a luxury SUV? Like blah blah blah. And I was like, so I went for your cheapest option, and you think that I want to upgrade to your most expensive option. Can you rewind that back and think about it, bud? So yeah, finally I feel like that took way too long. It's like, I've already booked it. It's already confirmed. Of course you don't have the car that I wanted. Of course you don't. And I ended up with a Toyota RAV4, and I got to tell you, that might be my next car. Just putting it out there. Smooth ride. And so we left around probably 8 or 9. I looked at our estimated time. I was like, 9 hours. Nice. This is like perfect. There's going to be no traffic because most of the people took off today. Because this is Thanksgiving Eve we're talking about, the 23rd, I think. And so it's like there's not going to be a soul on the road. We're going to be smooth sailing. And hopefully we can get through beyond the parts where there's going to be all the people blacked out from Blackout Wednesday driving home from the bars. So let's just get past that point. And of course, we hit Maryland and dead stop. I looked on Waze, and I thought Waze was having an aneurysm. I thought Waze was having a stroke. I was like, Waze, you good, dude? I looked down, and you know how on the left side there's like that bar that tells you how long of a stop it's going to be, like the congestion and whatnot, like estimated time of waiting or whatever, wait time. 97 minutes. Wow. 97 minutes. I've never seen anything like that. I've done a lot of driving in my time. Maybe not as much as the Southerners, that bitch and complain and call me out and shit on me for being from the North and not knowing how to operate a car. Okay, interesting take. Stereotype. But no, 97 minutes, never seen that in my life. And no joke, Waze was hit the nail right on the head. It was 97 minutes to a friggin' second. We moved maybe less than 3 miles. I'd say like 2.5 miles in almost an hour and 40 minutes. And you would think I would be upset, but it's like, relatively speaking, if I had to be somewhere at a certain time, I would have lost my mind, because I don't know that there's any alternative routes that I could have done, because I was in the middle lane and there's just no exits, and it's just like you're screwed. But it's like, well, I don't have to be anywhere at a certain time, so I don't mind this. Of course, I was a little worried that my daughter's in the back sleeping, and there's just like fire engine, police car, fire engine, ambulance, rescue, like all sirens blaring. And she just slept through it. And I was just like, what's the deal with kids? Why do they sleep through natural disasters? And why do they sleep through the loudest noises? And then it's like a mouse squeaks out a fart, and it's like, huh? What's going on? It's wake up time. Nope, it's not wake up time. It's literally 2 a.m. So she slept through that, which was great. We did eventually make it down to South Carolina. I made the decision to drop off the car at Florence Regional Airport, because if you listen to a previous episode, I was infuriated by the rental car drop-off situation at Myrtle Beach International, because it was just like, there's no rhyme or reason. There's no direction. There are no signs. It's just like, you just have to figure it out for yourself. There's zero help, guidance, support. So I was like, Florence is like an hour away from where my sister lives. I'll just drop it off there. So my sister said, that's fine. I'll pick you up at the airport, at Florence Regional Airport, where the rental car drop-off is. We got there probably around 8 o'clock in the morning. Sun's out. People have been awake for a couple hours, so I'm pretty sure. That airport was a ghost town. It got to the point where I thought, holy crap, was there a zombie outbreak? Was there some kind of viral outbreak? Like, is it COVID 22? And this is like the more advanced mutagen of the virus, and it's no prisoners, and it took everyone out because this place was so empty. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I guess it's a regional airport, but dear God, dude, like 0 planes coming in or out. I don't even know if I saw any planes. And this one was just as bad as Myrtle Beach, even worse probably, because it was like there was 0 signs about where to drop off the rental car, where to go to drop off your keys, anything like that. So it's like took us about half an hour to figure everything out. I end up going into the airport, and like I'm telling you, there's no one in this airport. Like I can see the rental car area where like there's where the desk is, where I would go and like hand my keys to a person. There's no person. There's only this one security guard who's just kind of chilling out on a bench. And I went over to her and I was like, hey, sup? First and foremost, sup? Second of all, can I have a pen? Because apparently I have to fill out this form and drop it in this slot at this empty desk. She's like, okay. And I was like, I don't know if I'm doing this correctly. Like because there's no directions or anything. It's just like, I guess here are the keys, and then there you go. And the car's over there. So I have no idea if they got the car or not. But we eventually got back to my sister's place, and I was able to nap. So now it's now Thanksgiving Day. Keep that in mind. And Giants Cowboys was at 4:30. So I was like, all right, I can get in a good 5-hour, 6-hour nap before the Giants get shellacked by the Cowboys. And to their credit, they held their own and were up at halftime. And that's all I could ask is like, let's just make it competitive. And they did. And then they didn't in the second half. My sister's family, that clan decided on 2 turkeys. Because why not? Because we live in bizarre land where we need 2 turkeys, even though there's like 5 of us. So there's one that's the tradish turk that goes in the oven, and it's baked or roasted. I don't know what the difference is. Don't ask. And then one was spatchcocked, which is definitely was dialed up by my brother-in-law, who can manage to do something like that. It's also known as butterflying. It's when a butcher, chef, or pro home cook like KC, my brother-in-law, removes a chicken backbone so that it lays flat. It's a skill every poultry lover should know and master. Okay. And I got to tell you, tasted pretty good. I'm actually shocked that my brother-in-law has not attempted the fried turkey, where you have the big, you see the viral videos of it, like everything going to shit, where it's like everything catches on fire. It's like charred out of its mind, where, explosions and whatnot, flames galore. I'm surprised he hasn't tried that yet. And maybe he has, and I just haven't been around. But like, I feel like that's next Thanksgiving, it's going to be 5 turkeys, and it's going to be like, let's do a competition to see 5 different cooking styles, all of them dangerous, and which tastes the best with the least amount of scars and wounds. So yeah, that was Thanksgiving dinner. I mean, I so full, so much food, and there was so many leftovers. And then, so on top of that, my sister decided to, because my brother-in-law, his birthday is like basically on Thanksgiving every year, or right around Thanksgiving, and he's turning 40 years old, which is a big milestone birthday. For my birthday, my daughter's mother took me to the city of Philadelphia right after the election, and we stayed at the Four Seasons Hotel, not the landscaping company. And it was amazing. And I thought, oh, this is when our relationship turns the corner. We've gotten over the hurdle. Like, we're in a new place, a better place. And our relationship, the sky's the limit for our relationship. And then told me I wanted to get divorced 2 months later. It's like, okay. So that was just, what was that? What the hell was that? Interesting. Was it a Hail Mary? What was it? I need to know. Anyway, so the day after Thanksgiving, Black Friday, we ended up going to a pig roast. It was my first pig roast I've ever been to. It was at my brother-in-law's boss's house, which was new, just built in a development that has just being built. Like their house is going up left and right. Beautiful looking community, but the boss is not, he didn't buy it. He's renting it because there's another house that he bought. He's like, there are two or three other houses that are in the mix. I don't know, dude. These people have so much freaking money. I just don't get it. I'm just happy to pay rent and to make sure that I'm not in the red. That's all. And these people have just cars on cars and houses and houses. And it's just like something to aspire to, I guess. But at the same time, wow. Like, what am I doing? I feel so small and insignificant hanging out with these people because they're all just shooting the shit like, yeah, I got this house down here and I got this car and I got this and I got this and I got that and I got this and I got that. And I'm just like, I have a television. Suck on that. So first ever pig roast. And I get there and I see this big, large wooden box that's on, I guess, stilts, 4 legs. It looks pretty cool. And I feel the heat coming off of it. And I see on the top of the box is like the coals, the charcoals or whatever that are, lit and putting out all this heat. And I'm thinking to myself, we got there at like, I don't know, 4 maybe. It was pretty early. The sun was still out. And we were just hanging around talking, drinking beers and just looking at this box. And I'm thinking to myself, this box feels like it's ready. When is the pig? Because it feels like if you're roasting a whole pig, that thing's got to go on at some point because it's going to take forever to cook, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm thinking to myself, when are you going to... It feels like it's ready. The box is ready. Let's do this. Let's get that hog and let's plop it down on top. Let's go. No, you dumb, you stupid dumb. The pig's in the box. It's a pig in a box. Yeah, the pig in a box. Should have known that. But yet again, I've proven time and time again how, I'm almost impressed by how dumb I am and have been. And yet I've fooled everyone into thinking that I'm this smart person because I went to a university that had somewhat higher than above average, standards to get in. And I'm kind of looking at Johns Hopkins and I'm saying, I think you guys done messed up. you let a moron into your institute of education, higher learning. You are all about higher learning and I have a lower IQ. What happened there? So it took me a good hour to realize, the pig is in the box. It's a pig in a box. That was fun though. I mean, I did kind of swear off. I didn't completely swear off pork, but there was a period where it's like I was eating like, all right, I'm gonna get this burrito and it's gonna have ham, bacon, and sausage, and it's like you don't need all that pork, dude, and all those various means and methods and ways and cuts. Like you don't need all that pork. And I also had met a pig in pig, I guess you would say, in person, in pig. And that Piggy Jesus, as I like to call it, but the government name was Silo. And it was like, how am I supposed to eat something like you? And then finding out that pigs are intelligent, which I don't know if that's necessarily true. And so I've really cut down on the amount of pork that I've eaten. Like at my house, I just don't eat it. And then if I go somewhere and they're serving it and that's all they have, it's like, all right, yeah, I'll eat it. But I remember I told my brother-in-law that, and I was like, yeah, ever since I found out that pigs are intelligent, I've kind of stopped eating pork. And he's like, but you are what you eat. So if you eat pork, when you get smarter, I was like, you son of a bitch. You done did it again, haven't you? This is why you're a doctor. So yeah, but the pig roast was awesome. Had a great time there. The kids got to play, which was great. And we ended up as a group watching, I didn't know a lot of people at that party, but we all as a group tuned in and watched National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, and we were all quoting it and we're all laughing. I was just like, damn, if you don't like my ex didn't like Christmas Vacation, so be it. So be it. I'm not asking all of you to hate her because of that. I'm not all trying to get you to form an army in my favor and defend my honor and attack her because of her lack of interest or love for Christmas Vacation. But that entire room was in love with that movie and was quoting it and laughing. And so, yeah, I guess in your face. You're in the minority, but there was definitely a vibe of like, okay, you start to pick up on like dynamics in a room and amongst a big group of people. Like, okay, these are like kind of the Real Housewives over here, where they're like they've got the power, and they kind of pull the strings around here. Like they're the big swinging D's, if you will, even though they ain't got no D's, they got P's or C's. The letters, the alphabet. But oh my God, all the food was so freaking good. So good. So much food and so good. And the beers were good too. So that was a nice little night. But the amount of vehicles in the South, dude, it's like, why do you have this one? This looks like something out of Jurassic Park, but there are no wildlife or dinosaurs around here. Why do you have this kind of all-terrain vehicle Jeep thingy in the middle of a suburban, like cookie cutter development? What? Why? So I don't know. It's just like, well, I liked it, so I bought it. It's like, yeah, sure, why not? You had an extra 30,000 laying around. Hey, I've been there. Haven't you? Haven't we all? Good God. I don't think my bank account has ever gotten above. I mean, it's like peaked above 10,000 once. And it was like, oh my God. And then it just kind of went back down below the fence. The level. I was like, I don't know if I can handle that. More than 10,000 in my account. Dear goodness. So that was Friday, Black Friday. And then Saturday was the surprise birthday party. So my brother-in-law and my sister have gone bananas. And over the past, I don't know, year or more, maybe at least the past 6 months, maybe a year, maybe even more. I don't know. I was not paying close attention, apparently. They have just gotten friggin' jacked. Like they just, which is crazy to me, because I would think with 3 kids that there's like, when do you have the freaking time to lift? And like, well, hey Neil, when you get so tired watching Bree and then it's like finally 9 o'clock and you're like exhausted and you just go to sleep. Well, that's when they're working out. So you should either get up early when they get up early and work out, or after the kids go to bed, you suck it up and pull, your thing out of your thing, sack up and work out. And so that's what they've been doing. And that's what I haven't been doing. And it showed big time. So we worked out and, I think some men might not admit to this. They might say, hey, keep that a secret, that you take that to your grave. But I'm just going to say it because I'm proud of my sister. My sister is stronger than me. I am older than my sister by about 6 years, just about. She's like 36, 3 kids. She's now officially stronger than me. And, Neil, I know what you're saying. How the hell do you let that happen? How do you let a woman, if you're of that kind of ilk, that kind of upbringing, that kind of, mentality, mindset, disposition, you're like, whoa, dude, how do you let that happen to a woman? My sister is not like 5 foot 93 pounds. Okay. She is bigger than some men. And I know that's, she's probably like cringing hearing that, but she's tall, sturdy. I don't know. That's like, this is not, I know some people are going to take this the wrong way and say, oh my God, I can't believe he's saying this about his sister. She is a strong woman. She's just a strong woman. Solid. 5'9", 5'10" almost. So she's the height of an average man. in the United States, and is I think this is come back full circle now. Thick with a few C's on the tacked on the end, and it's like the good thick. So like good for her, because like I'm sure she's not like gung ho. Like my brother-in-law's like a madman. He's posting videos on IG, and it's just like, he's a madman, and he buys like all this merchandise and shirts and whatnot that are like funny weightlifting puns, and it's just like he is in it to win it. Okay, and she's along for the ride, and good for her because it's paid off. I mean, like she looks great. My brother-in-law looks great. I look like doo-doo, like straight doo-doo. And it showed in that gym that they now have in their original garage, which they don't use for vehicles anymore. It's just used for guns. And that's me flexing for anyone listening. And yeah, it was just like, okay, I think I need to start lifting more consistently, because I went, so I would say, I was lifting consistently until probably I turned 30, and then it dwindled a little bit. And then it was like, all right, I don't know if I had the same motivation or energy. And then I met my eventual ex-wife to be, I guess I should say. And it was like, you get into that relationship. It was just like, I don't want to do anything except snuggle with you. And, maybe this is like, it's not everyone, but this is me. You put on the love pudge, right? So it's like you're snuggling on the couch, you're drinking wine, and you're watching trashy reality TV or movies, and you're just like, yes, this is the life. What, I can't even ask for anything more. This is why I lifted all those weights, to get to this point. But it's like, oh no, you got to kind of keep lifting the weights to keep looking somewhat half effable. And then if you don't, like I did, you put on 10, 15, 20 pounds, and then you're disgusting, and your partner's like, oh man. Ooh. So I think that's what happened in that relationship. So I would say it was probably like, there were a decade of just like not working out or lifting consistently. So there was a good stretch like 5 years ago after I got married where it was like I was going consistently for maybe half a year, not even a year, like half a year, just because the gym was close by, and it was just I got into the high intensity interval training or whatever, and it was just like quick and easy, and it was like boom, 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 and I started to look somewhat better, and then I just stopped, dude. Once our offices moved into the tower, the Freedom Tower, and there was like not a gym nearby, it was like a 15-minute walk. It was like, well, I can't afford to. It's just not doable, not feasible anymore. So I just stopped. And you would think like COVID would probably be the best time or situation to, like you're just at home all the time. Like just figure it out, dude. Like you have somewhat decent amount of space, just like do it. And it just didn't do it. And it backfired. So now I think I'm getting into a better place with trying to motivate myself and making it better. But that's a wake up call. Like, hey, your younger sister's stronger than you. Like, maybe you need to hit the weights, dude. Maybe you need to like get off your fat, lazy ass and like get some reps in. I pick things up and I put them down. I pick things up and I put them down. Like, just get in that mindset. Like that viral TikTok or whatever reel that was going around was like, go to the effing gym. Go to the effing gym. It's like, yeah, go to the effing gym, dude. So I've been trying to do that. And oh my God, I got on the bench press the other day, and I can admit my sister's stronger than me because she is a strong woman. I don't know that I can tell you what I'm able to bench now. I can't. You're going to have to get me nice, loosey-goosey and saucy for me to let that slip, because I think people are going to come for me if they hear what I bench now. Like my sworn enemies, my foes, my rivals are going to drop what they're doing when they hear the number, and they're going to just like knock down my door, take me out kicking and screaming, and quarter me. Okay. So I'm not comfortable with saying that. So anyway, my brother-in-law's surprise birthday party, we heavy lift in the morning, and then his brother, takes him off to the shooting range because that's what you do in the South to distract him and get him out of the house or away from the house so that my sister and I can actually set up the party in this massive friggin' carport slash garage slash Noah's Ark slash warehouse that has been built to house all the vehicles that the original garage can't hold. So we've already done our heavy lifting for the day, and now we had to do more heavy lifting. So it's like the Scout, for instance, 76 Scout, like trying to start that and get it in neutral to push it out of the garage. It was like a CrossFit makes the strongman competition after already doing like a Spartan race. Like, oh shit, dude. So move the Scout out, move the boat out, and of course, my brother-in-law is asking questions about like why do you need to move the boat out? And so my sister had to like turn up the heat on that one, and get a little feisty, and pick the volume up a little bit to get him to like back off and like back down, and not ask so many questions. But we had to move all that stuff out, and then you had the truck come with all the rental chairs and tables, setting them up. So we just had a massive Thanksgiving dinner for 5 people, tons of leftovers. And then she's having this party catered, a freaking pig roast the day after Thanksgiving with 2 turkeys, a freaking whole pig. And then on Saturday is a catered dinner with like 18 tons of brisket and shredded barbecue pork and mac and cheese. It's like, oh, dude. Oh. So, that took us all day to set up because it was he was going to come back around 5:00. So we had to get moving and get it all set up in like, I want to say, so 4, but it was like 7 hours, 6 or 7 hours. And I remember I just hit a wall. It was just like, I can't move any faster than a snail's pace. I don't know that I can lift anything anymore because my body has quit on me. It quiet quit. Thanks, body, for quiet quitting on me. And my sister was just still going strong. Like we didn't have a lift sesh. Like we didn't do all this other stuff. She just kept going, like boom, 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 like directing people and calling the shots and like lifting and moving and da-da-da. I was just like, I don't know how the frig she does it. She's an animal. She's goddamn savage. So, but the surprise birthday party was great. I hate to spoil this, but it's time. It's time the truth came out because I'm a truthful person. I'm honest and transparent. Them kids spoiled it. Okay. Them kids, and they almost spoiled it like a few times while I was there in the 2 days that I was there. So I can't imagine the weeks leading up to that thing, the amount of times that they probably let it slip. But yeah, they spoiled it big time. So, I mean, he kind of tried his best. My brother-in-law tried his best to act surprised, but it was like, dude, yeah, And I had it spoiled to me like right after he got there, or right before he got there. And it was like, hey, the kid's already spoiled it, right? And I was like, all this effort and work, and he already knows. Cool. But he didn't, I will say, I don't think he knew the breadth of the party, like how many people showed up. I mean, we had people show up from Louisville and Florida and all over the country, Arizona. I mean, people were flying in and driving in, and there were probably like 50 plus people, more than 50 people. Still way too much booze and food, dude. Way too much booze and food. There was like a million bottles of wine that no one touched. There's all these little snacks and appetizers before the appetizer. Just like, because I guess it looks good around the carport, but there's no way I would have put that amount of effort. The amount of effort that my sister put into that thing, it was just like, holy, that's gotta buy you, I was going to say a lifetime of forgiveness. Like if of F-ups, but at least a year, right? You put that kind of effort into that party, you gotta get like a year free pass. Like you can just do whatever the hell you want and you're forgiven automatically. Automatic forgiven. Hall pass. Not a hall pass. Jesus. So yeah. I wore I just looked like an out of work unemployed lumberjack. I looked like someone who a little bit like what's his face from Cutting Edge, you know, when he's like the pro hockey teams won't pick him up and like he's just looking for work. He can't find work. Like that's what I look like. Like you know, kind of yeah, I know. It's just I couldn't yeah. Well, you know, I tried. Well, you know, so and so's hiring. It's like, nope. That's what I looked like. I dressed up real nice. Brielle was dressed like a runaway, essentially. She by the end of the night, because the kids, you know, the parents, younger parents, all stayed up and were drinking. The older folks kind of like retired and went back to their houses and whatnot, went to sleep, and the younger parents stayed up and were drinking. And so the kids were up and drinking. No, not drinking. But the kids were up and just about as tired and cranky as you can be as a child. Like it's the worst I've seen Bree, my daughter, in a very long time. And it's because I don't think she's ever stayed up that late. It was like midnight, a little past midnight. And it was like every 5 minutes was like in tears, breaking down. And she's just covered in like dirt, you know, not wearing, it's so cold. And she's wearing like a dress with Crocs, no socks, like no jacket, and just like shivering and hungry and tired. And you know, I was like, all right, I got to take you to bed. Like you look disastrous right now. And I'm sure it's doing wonders for my rep as a single father. So I eventually escorted her to bed, but there were, his buddy's wife, brother-in-law's buddy's wife made like these bacon bourbon jello shots. Maker's Mark bourbon jello topped off with bacon, which was a festive for the senses. There's a party in my mouth and everyone's coming. There were lemon drop jello shots, which I think were more popular with the ladies. And yeah, I mean, it was a fantastic time, a great time. Live music, you know, guy on the guitar outside. And I think everyone had a really good time. You know, got to hang out and talk with some folks. You know, lots of stories that I cannot repeat, but it's good to get some context and the history of the timeline of how, you know, relationships developed. I'll say that. That's all I'll say. And yeah, at one point I was the shortest person in a group, which always catches me off guard because I'm not, you know, I'm 6 foot. So it's like, I'm not that short a person. So it's like, you know, it is, it definitely like throws me for a loop when I'm like, I walk into a group of people and it's like, oh, you're all redwoods. You're all trees. How's the conversation up there? And then I slept on a mattress made for babies, toddler. So my head was hanging off, my feet were hanging off. I looked like Buddy the Elf, you know, at the beginning of the movie when they're showing Will Ferrell like sleeping in his bed at the North Pole, and he's just like way too gigantic for the shower, for the bed. Like that was me trying to sleep in the kids' playroom. You know, I had to move out of the bedroom, my niece's bedroom where I normally sleep because there was a family of 4. I don't know how a family of 4, I mean, would you rather? Here's a great would you rather. Would you rather be 6 foot sleeping on a mattress for babies where your head is and your feet are hanging off or a family of 4 all sleeping in like maybe a queen size bed? Not even a queen size bed. Had to be a double. I don't know. That's tough. It's like the Willy Wonka treatment, the grandparents and Willy Wonka, or like Buddy the Elf. You choose. So that Sunday was a disaster because I was like, I didn't have much sleep. I'm hungover. And like, you know, people are asking me questions and I don't know the answers to them. And then I'm catching shit for it. It's like, hey, back the truck up. Okay. Can you cut me some slack? Like, hey, how did your daughter sleep last night? It's like, I wasn't in the room. I don't know. She didn't come in and like, I don't know. And they're like, you don't know? Like, no, I was in another room, and she didn't come in and wake me up. So I assumed she had a good night's sleep. Like, and then there was like, don't know, don't care. No, 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 no. No, no, no. It's not don't know, don't care. It's don't know, don't need to know, don't have to know, don't want to know. And yes, I do care, but it's kind of like no news is good news. If nothing bad happened, then I think I get a gold star. That's how I see it. So Sunday was mostly cleanup and just trying to rehydrate and get ready for ultimate relaxation because we had the cruise the next day. So that Monday we wake up 6 a.m. We're on the road by 7 o'clock to drive to Port Canaveral, Florida, which is a typically an 8-hour or 9-hour drive. So it's like just a skosh less than me driving down to South Carolina overnight, which is going to happen tonight. Oh my God, I can't believe I had to do that tonight. Wow. So, but the kicker here is that my brother-in-law is a maniac on the road. So like, he's averages like 90 miles per hour. So it was the speed of light going down there and making good time. Like no one drank a lot of fluids. There weren't a lot of pee breaks. I was really proud of the kids. Like there's 4 kids in that car and they all could have had their tiny bladders could have been going off like an alarm every hour. Like gotta pee. Nope. It was literally one stop for breakfast, pee break, and then that was it for the rest of the trip, which was awesome. We did hit some traffic, and that caused panic on my sister's side. I had the quiet panic going where I was like, I don't need to add fuel to the fire here. Like I'm pretty sure everyone's quietly panicking. My sister's like not quietly panicking because like my brother-in-law is so cocky that it's like, and so sure of himself. And I'm just like, well, if something can go wrong, it will go wrong. So this will go wrong. But he was still so confident and cocky. And we were the last group to board, right? So we're in that last boarding time of like 2 to 2:30 or 2:30 to 3. And so we pull up like hauling ass. We pull up right at the last possible minute. And we're all like shuffling and running, to get on the cruise ship. And we walk up and it's like the world's longest line. Now, this line is all the way down the parking lot and then it just snaked. So like every row of the parking lot was just people. Every row. Entire parking lot. No cars. Just people. Snaking. Snake on snake on snake. Longest line I've ever seen or been a part of. It took us 2.5 hours, almost 3 hours to get on that cruise boat, cruise ship. And of course, there's all kinds of like rumors and speculation when you're in line because it's a game of the world's biggest game of operator. It's like someone kind of puts something out in the air, someone hears it and then relays a different version of it, like a slightly different alternate version of what that person said to the next person. And by the time it gets to you, it's like, well, the cast of Armageddon flew a helicopter into the side of a cruise ship. It's like, what? No, that didn't happen. No. So it turns out there was like, I guess 2 heart attacks, 2 very severe medical emergencies, which caused another cruise ship to turn to 180, turn face and come back. And so they weren't scheduled to arrive at this particular port, dock, whatever. And they ended up having to use the port or dock that we were supposed to use. So then we got moved to another port or dock, which caused confusion. And then there were quote unquote computer problems. So it made the national news, made headlines. Look it up. So that sucked, especially with kids, because it's like the kids are just, again, I'm pretty proud of them for being able to not cause a complete ruckus and to not completely lose their minds and start just like stabbing each other. I don't know. I just feel like it's pretty decent the way that they were able to behave. So we eventually got on the cruise ship. That was Monday evening. and just kind of, walked around. I can't remember if we got dinner or not. Yeah, we did go to dinner, and then I got back to my room, and it was like, that was when, so I had my room, and then there was my sister and her brother-in-law in a room, and they were connected to my brother-in-law's parents who came along for the ride. And so there was a period where, like, okay, after dinner, we're going to try and get the kids to go down to sleep. And then the adults are going to go out and rage. And I couldn't pull it together for that Monday night. That's just how old and decrepit I am. They came to the door and they're like, "You ready?" And I was just like, to go to bed. Peace out. Peace up, A-Town. See you later. So yeah, they were kind of bummed about that. But I was like, I'll be promised tomorrow and the rest of this trip, I'm going to be at my A game. I'm going to be at the ready and willing to go. Ready, willing, and able. And I did. But it was like my sister was literally falling asleep at the dinner table like every night. Just like, because it's just, it's a lot with kids, because you got to keep your eye half open on them the entire time. So the last time I went on a cruise was, I think I said this, was in 1999. It was my freshman year in college, winter break, I think. And I was so fat. Like, not as fat as I am now, but so fat, like just obese times 11D. And I had a girlfriend, my first girlfriend ever. My first girlfriend, like, meaning, I had been, they were like girlfriends in high school, but like it wasn't serious. I think they would agree with that. And so I was with my first girlfriend, and I went with my buddy and his parents. And so he's just like, he's like the definition of a pussy hound. Like I think he's a sex addict, pretty sure. And he had a girlfriend at the time. And so all I remember about that cruise was like, I want to drink, but I also don't know if this is going on their like plan, because you have to charge it to the room, I think. So it's like, I didn't want them to have to pay for my booze, even though I was drinking I was getting into drinking at the time. Like, I didn't want them paying for my booze. And I felt like if I boozed and they saw it, that they would get pissed. So I was like, all right, I'm not going to really drink too much. And I don't remember doing much other than like cruising the cruise for chicks. Like, it was just like, let's just go looking for women to hang out with. And I was like, not comfortable with it. I do remember we went and played one of our stops. We played volleyball on the beach, and I was like, oh, that was a wake up call. Like, oh, Neal, maybe you should lay off a lot of this eating that you're doing. Like, just lay off. Like, let's pull it back. So that's all I remember about the cruise. And I was like, so this is the cruise. We just like eat all the time. It's just eat. Cruises have made some advancements over the past 2 decades, apparently, because this cruise had literally everything. We went to like an ice skating show one night. Like, how there's a freaking ice rink on this cruise ship. We went to a play. We saw the musical Grease, which I have never, from start to finish. I'm very familiar with Grease, but I've never seen it from start to finish, either the movie or the play or anything. That's a horny ass program. It's a horny production, straight up. And we took my 9-year-old niece to that production. And I remember looking over at her during that, because I was kind of like, not completely slack jawed, but I was like, wow, this is charged. This is sexually charged. And then I look over at my niece, and she's just like full on leaning, like almost her nose is almost in the hair of the person sitting in front of her. She's like that into it, just like taking notes, mental notes left and right. It's like, oh boy. That same theater had a production where the guy, like a juggler, a British dude who I didn't understand half the shit he was saying. It was just like, he's just very out of breath and talking very quickly. And I was just like, oh, okay. What's happening? But he did juggle like axes, like an axe. He used to chop wood. He was juggling axes. I don't know if he juggled chainsaws, but it was just like, Whoa, okay. You're really doing that. Okay. That was cool to watch. But yeah, there's still way too much eating. Tons of eating. Like breakfast buffet, lunch buffet, same place, and then dinner at this like fairly nice establishment. But it was just, even dinner, it's like you can pick you can just order as much as you want, and like I don't think you pay, like it's all included. It's just, so my brother-in-law is like literally ordering 2 or 3 entrees at a time. It's just like, oh, that and that. Like, oh my God. So it's at night when the kids did go to sleep and we went out and about, we went to like karaoke a couple times. The number of people, first of all, there should be a rule or a law for karaoke that's like, okay, you can't pick these songs. Like, you're not allowed to pick these songs. And just for the sake of the room, for the audience, how about we alternate like slow, fast, slow, fast, slow, fast? Like, we can't have 5 slow ass melodies in a row. I'm like gonna fall asleep in my drink. And there were a lot of women attempting Whitney Houston, and they almost did it. There were a couple women that almost pulled it off, but it was like, they had one shining moment in those Whitney Houston sounds, but it's like, there's only one, okay? And the one night there was a group of gals who were severely intoxicated, and the one woman could barely stand up. She got up, her turn, she couldn't, she just fucking forgot all the lyrics, couldn't even read the lyrics on the screen, and then tried to like ambush or like piggyback on other people's songs. So there was one woman who got up and was singing I Forget, and then she just comes up and like kind of grabs the mic from her and is trying to sing along with her, and like, where's security? Like, is there literally no security on a cruise ship? That's ape. That's ham. That's crazy. Like, and no one's trying to pull her off. It's just like she's just, and they don't know each other. So the woman's like, trying to sing, and this drunk ass woman is just like hijacking her friggin' performance. There was one night where it was like an adults only type thing, which sounds worse than it is, but it was basically you get together in teams, and then the dude on the mic, MC, throws out like a something, and then you have to write down your answer on a piece of paper and then run it up to the table. And then the most popular answer, the teams that give the answer that ends up being the most popular answer gets points, which I thought was cool. And so my the one category was best pickup line. And so my brother-in-law writes down, oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to butcher this. I'm going to forget it. Hey, you want to go half in on a fetus? Something like that. So we put it up there, and it's like, if we're being strategic, not a great pickup line to write down, because I don't think anyone in the world is going to write that down. That's like not a popular pickup line. So, but the beauty of it is the host is like Filipino. He's got like an accent. And then the co-host who reads off the answers is like Mexican. So he's like, table 16, hey. And he reads off our answer. He reads off the other answers. And he reads our answer. He goes, hey, want to go half in on a fetus? Want to go half in on a fetus? Oh my God. My brother-in-law was like, a fetus. So that was the highlight of that night. There was another night where it was like a dance type competition. You divide the room in 2, and then like they announce like a dance, like the chicken dance or the electric slide, and then as many people as possible that feel comfortable doing that dance get up on the dance floor and do it, and then they count the number of people doing that dance correctly on each team, and then they tally up the points and whatnot. And we for sure lost that one. I have forgotten like all dance moves. Like even the Macarena. As soon as he said the Macarena, I was like, I fucking got this, dude. I'm gonna nail this. And then I get on the dance floor and I'm looking around. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. What the hell happened? Like there's a whole wrist thing. Like I forget that you gotta like turn the hands first, and then to the beat you gotta go across, and then it's yeah. I'm not good at remembering lyrics. And I'm not good at remembering dance moves. So I'm the life of the party. Deal with it. But yeah, I mean, the second day, I think day 2, Tuesday, we went to Nassau. And so the moment like we got off the ship and we're walking to Nassau, and the moment we stepped foot on that friggin' location, it was just a gauntlet of people from Nassau like trying to sell us shit, just getting solicited out the ass, like 2, 3 at a time sometimes. And it was just like, this can't be a good method for selling things. Like just harassing people as soon as they get off a cruise ship, like taxis, jet skis, name it, dude. And they were selling it. And like, but like, it was like being on the floor of the stock market at Wall Street, like the Wall Street stock floor, trading floor. First of all, I don't know how that works. I don't know how anyone gets anything done on that floor, like screaming over each other. I don't understand how that works correctly. So imagine that, but like people are just trying to sell you shit and you don't even hear what they're saying half the time because they're both like groups yelling at you to buy their shit. And so eventually we get kind of away from the angry mob, but then we walk to like the marketplace, and I was like, oh my God, we're going to go in the marketplace where you're like supposed to be soliciting and selling things. And it's not like the mall where it's like you walk in a Foot Locker and a guy comes up and says, can I help you with anything? No, this is like every row you go down, there's a vendor being like, and I will say this. It is nice to be harassed in a way like they did, because every vendor is like, well, they don't say it to me, but they were saying it to like the ladies in the group. They're like, hey, sexy lady, pretty lady. Oh, pretty lady, sexy lady. What do you want something? What do you want? Handbag, necklace, sexy lady. And I was just like, that's gotta feel good. Like it sucks because you're getting harassed, but at least it's being harassed with some honey on top. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, I think they just saw how pissed off I was, and they were just like, hey, angry man, you okay? Like there's no, hey, sexy boy, like good looking man, you want something? So I did not buy anything, which sucks. Although I did get solicited. This guy was like, basically, they do this fucking move, dude, this con move where they hand you the item and then like not saying anything. So then you reach out and as soon as you grab it, they're like, okay, well, that we would appreciate a donation for this children's school. It's like most people pay $5, and then you try to hand it back, and then they're like, whoa, what's going on? You're gonna hand it back? This is charity. Like it's supposed to be a donation. You're gonna hand it back, and so then you feel compelled. And so I ended up buying like 3 of those goddamn bracelets, but they look nice. They look hand woven. They look like it wasn't just purchased off of Amazon, hopefully. But like, Bree doesn't want to wear that. I was like, hey, you want to wear this? It'll be fun. You can show it off to your classmates at school. And she was just like, no. I'm like, all right, no use for this. And then the guy had to give me shit because I gave him like $2 or $3 for like 2 or 3 of the bracelets. So which, in retrospect, I think if you were to actually sell that in a market the legitimate way and price it the right way, it would not be $1 per bracelet. I mean, this is like hand woven shit. So it looks really good and probably really well made. And I'm just like, here's $2 or $3. But it was like, you kind of suckered me into that purchase. Like you hand it to us like it's free. And then you're like, oh, by the way, now that it's in your possession, you owe me this. That happened to me before in Manhattan where the dude was handing out CDs. This is, obviously way back in the day, but he like handed me the CD. I was like, oh, thanks. And he's like, yeah, that'll be $5. And then I was like, oh, no, thanks. And I tried to hand back and he's like, no take backs. I was just like, whoa, what? How did okay, here's $5. Like, what the So that was Nassau. We didn't stay there very long. It was only like lasted about an hour, but I think, purchases were made. My brother-in-law's father actually bought a badass looking cane, and he got his name like etched into it, carved into it, and he was able to bargain. And I guess that is, if you are into that kind of shit, you're into haggling and bargaining, this is like the place for you, because it's like almost encouraged, like 40. And then they're like, I'll pay 20. I can't go below 40. Well, I can't go above 20. Well, how about 30? Like, if you're into that, I'm not. I get like my skin crawls thinking about that kind of shit. It's just like, I don't want to know. I'm very uncomfortable. So, it didn't last very long there. But they have this huge, so on the, I guess not the roof, Jesus Christ, like one of the top levels of the cruise deck, there's like the adult swimming pool and there's the kiddie swimming pool. And so the adult swimming pool is pretty open, good eye lines, vision, right? You can keep a decent eye. There's like hot tubs everywhere. The children's side, and this is why we picked this cruise, there's like a whole play area for the kids, but like if you're an adult parent and you just want to like rest and sit in your chair and like watch your kid play and drink your drink, you can't really do that, because the way they've constructed it, it's like it's all your vision's blocked. Your kids are on the other side of these massive like slides and whatnot, and it's just like, can't we just flip that the other way so we can actually see your kids playing? Instead, you gotta like. So basically, I spent most of the time just like, walking back and forth along the perimeter of this thing, trying to like keep an eye on my daughter. And of course, so, a nervous wreck. And then we got the unlimited drink package. So, I'm just like, trying to pace myself at the same time. It's like, by day 4 of the unlimited drink package, it's like, we actually get this, they actually keep a record of your drinks. You can check it in the app. And it was like, we were averaging like, almost 20 drinks a day, which you think, oh my God, 20 drinks in a day. But over the course of 16 hours, 15 hours, it's like less than a drink an hour. I think it's, your blood is alcohol by the time you get off that ship. It's just like, you could drink straight up friggin' Exxon Mobil, Shell gasoline, and you'd be like, all right, I'm good to drive. Yep. ZYXW. The alphabet backwards. Oh my God. So I was kind of a nervous wreck about that, but then you kind of get some drinks in you and you're like, all right, maybe I'll just loosen up. What's the worst that can happen? I mean, it's a kiddie pool. It's a foot deep, there's all kinds of lifeguards everywhere. There's other kids. It'll be fine. And of course, I think day 3 or day 4, like, my daughter lost sight of me and went to the lifeguard and was like, my daddy's gone. I've lost my daddy forever. And so the lifeguards are like, and I'm like, oh my God, I can literally see you going to the lifeguard and saying that. Like I witnessed that whole interaction. I'm right here. But the adult pool, they had the world's sexiest man competition. And the kids were in attendance, all like the 3 of the 4 kids. The 4th is a baby, probably would have attended as well if he could walk and get away with it. But so it was my daughter, my niece, my nephew are all just sitting there like, leaning on the edge of the pool, like head in their hands, looking all cute as the world's sexiest man competition is going down on the poop deck, where you have like these 5 or 6 guys. You have these 3 judges. He had the 2 like svelte, fit, good-looking women, and then you had the 3rd judge who was just like an absolute horn dog, heavy set woman. The kind that probably is an absolute tornado at a bachelorette party. At the strip club, just like grabbing and honking and tearing and hooting and hollering and just like, I can do whatever I want because I'm a woman. And yeah, she was pretty much right. So they got to witness that. And it was just like, no one took it seriously. I mean, it's there was there were two dudes. One dude had like an 8-pack and he didn't win. And then there was another dude, they had to do like, I guess they had to give like a lap dance or some kind of dance. And then, I don't know, there was like maybe a question and answer portion of it. I honestly don't know. But of course, like there were some beer bellies in the mix there. There's that like that Florida look where it's like nice and brown, tribal tattoo, bleached hair, 6 shades, like Flavor Town, USA, that kind of look. So that was cool. They also had a belly flop competition, which I appreciated. Thought about entering it, but I was like, I actually did a belly flop in my sister's pool over the summer, and I'm like, whoa, I think my heart just stopped. I think my heart stopped for a good minute because I literally hit as flat as you could as a body can on a surface of water. You know how they say, like, if you ever do fall off a bridge, a high surface bridge, and there's like river or water below you, that you need to make like a pencil formation with your body because that's the least painful way to enter the water. The most painful way is to basically go starfish USA and just hit, like, it's almost like hitting concrete, they say. Like, you're just basically hitting concrete at that point when you do that. That's what I did in my sister's pool when I tried to belly flop, and I was like, so I don't want to repeat that. And then like, they're going to have to turn the boat around because it's a medical emergency. And then it's the national news. So I was like, I'm going to opt out. But no, some pretty good belly floppers in there. There were some guys where it was like, oh, you got the perfect body for belly flopping. Like, this guy's going to own this competition. And then they kind of tense up, or they lose that confidence right as they're about to, like, right as they take off the diving board. It's like they all of a sudden you could see them like, oh no, like I made a huge mistake, and then like they don't go for it. But the key is to like really first and foremost is like have a huge beer gut, lots of padding there, and then to lead with that gut, and then to kind of bow backwards so that you're not hitting flat. Although I have to say, like, the louder the noise, the flatter you hit, the higher scores you get. So, and that's ends up being the thing. But the guy who was in the World's Sexiest Man competition also entered into the belly flop competition. I had a chat with him like night one. He's like, he was like the vet, the grizzled vet. He's like, I friggin' love this cruise. I've been on this cruise so many goddamn times. And I'm just like, all right, man, do you? And sure enough, he's like the regular. Like the MCs, the hosts, the staff, they all call him by his first name. They all know him. Just insanity. Day 3, Wednesday, was Coco Cay. Awesome beach. Huge pool that I think I would have really enjoyed if I were just single, no kids. I think it's the perfect spot if you're single, no kids. Huge winding river. There's a bar in the pool you can swim up to. There were some folk. There were some ladies with some dumpers twerking, and it was like a wave machine in there. Now, if you are a single parent like I am, and you're with child, then it is a freaking nightmare to keep track of your kid. Like, cause they like, oh, I'm going to go here. And then like you turn your head, you turn back, and like they're under a bridge or like beyond and out of sight, out of mind. And you're like, oh boy, well, this is how I lose custody. Cool. That's good to know that it's officially over. That run was only about a year. So no, Coco Cay was great. Beautiful water. Got to do a little scuba, snorkeling. Not scuba diving, snorkeling mostly. Got to see some fish, which was cool. And my nephew, I like to consider myself as the baby whisperer to a certain extent. My record wasn't as great with Bree as I would have hoped, but with my nephew, like he needed a nap. He was just crying and so cranky, and it started to rain. And I was like, the rain, Mother Nature's not helping things. Mother Nature, come on, where's your maternal instinct? So I ended up taking him and doing like a gentle kind of boppity walk where it's like you're walking to a rhythm and bopping up and down in the rain. We're getting poured on and just making that shh sound, almost like a wave machine or sound machine. And sure enough, I mean, it took like probably half a mile of walking in the rain, but we got her done, and I got him to sleep. And I think I'm very proud of that accomplishment. Also, found someone's card. So you needed your passport and your key card wherever you went. So like, anytime you need anything, a drink, anything, you needed this key card, and someone left their key card on like the trash can, and I noticed it. So I go and grab it. And I'm like, I don't know what to do here. Like, someone needs this to like, I think, get back on the boat, since that's how bad you need it. It's necessary. It's required. And so they have all these people, the employees are there, and they all look like pilots, like airplane pilots with this freaking uniforms. And I'm thinking to myself, so could you I feel like you could get away with a lot of shit by wearing that uniform. Like, cause it looks super official, but it's like, what's your official title? Custodian. Okay, cool. So I returned the key card, and I guess they were appreciative. I don't know what happened with there, but I felt like that earned me some brownie points, karma points, right? Those are good. Got to see some fake jacks, not uncovered, but they were clothed. But it was just like, I got eyes and they work. And it's like, how do you expect me not to look at those? Good God. But yeah, that was, so the cruise was fun. I had a good time. I didn't think I would have a good time. I had a good time. Each night, after the kids went to bed, and basically in my room, the way it's set up, I had a big bed, and they have these fold down kind of bunk bed type things from the roof or from the wall. And so I thought Bree would sleep in either in the bed with me, and then you could have the two kids up top or whatnot. And it was like, nope, I had the room all to myself all 4 nights, which was nice. It was good. I don't know how they were able to operate in my sister's room, because it was literally like my sister, my brother-in-law, my niece, nephews, plural, 3 kids, and then Bree was also crashing. So like 4 kids. Although I guess, okay, either 1 or 2 of the kids would sleep with the grandparents in the next room. But I would walk into that room, and these rooms are not big, and I walk into that room, and it was just like, I don't know what is happening in here. This feels like if you had to stay another 5 days in that room, it would be a bloodbath. Like, this is gonna be like a triple murder, homicide, suicide. But yeah, so day 4 was a day at sea, and so the other thing about this cruise ship is like they have this ice cream machine kind of in the corner on the top deck there. And I swear these kids put away so goddamn much ice cream. I think my niece must have had 12 in a span of like 2 hours. Because they're not huge, but it's still like a waffle cone and then soft serve had to be. I mean, my daughter must have had at least 6 within an hour. It's like, and then we're like flabbergasted that we take them to the breakfast buffet and the lunch buffet and the dinner where you can order as many friggin' entrees as you want at no cost. And we're like, why aren't you eating? Why are you eating? But with a group that big, it did feel like every 5 minutes we were asking each other, where's so-and-so? Where's her? Where's he? Where is him? Where's who? Where's she? Where's this person? Where? It's like, we need to be like, we just need to get tagged. Let's just tag the kids, and we'll have a little geolocator on the phone there. That was what was funny about Coco K is like, yeah, they were getting lost pretty frequently, but as we're going back to the ship, we walked past this place that was like specifically made for children, like a children's play area, where it was just like they could have gone hog wild and we could have watched them the entire time, and it wouldn't have been an issue. And the kids are like, "Oh, can we play?" And they're like, well, we have to go back to the ship. Sorry. But I thought I would have hated it, and now it's like I'm actually kind of considering it. It would have been nice to do with a girlfriend. I think that would be like the ultimate trip, because like my brother-in-law proposed to my sister on a cruise, so they're cruise people, and like they know the ins and outs. They're veterans, whatever. But at the same time, when you do have kids, especially 3 kids, maybe 4 kids, like to do all the things that the cruise of affords to you, that it makes available, it's not really feasible. It's not doable. But I could see, like, if you took your lady friend, like your significant other, that could be fun, because there's just so much like physical activities. There's just there's just no shortage of things to do. But it is funny. Like, there's not one thing that's like amazing great. It's all like, oh, that was good, that was okay, like yeah, that was yeah, oh, we can do that, oh, that was good, okay. Nothing really stands out, but it's all just like you can really do almost anything you want. So yeah, I had a good time. I'm not going to be doing it again anytime soon, but I could see there might be a situation down the road where it's like I wouldn't mind doing that with a partner, and just making the most of it. But it is they freak like cruises, in my mind, they do get a bad rap, and I was probably one of the biggest proponents against it, because it just feels confined. It feels claustrophobic. It feels like this could go, and you see the horror stories about, like, especially with when COVID first hit and all these people are on a cruise ship, and it's like there's nothing they can do and they have to stay out there. Hey, you stay out there on that cruise ship, because you're not coming back here with all that disease. Like, that's just worst case scenario. But I could see the appeal now. And I could see, like, it makes me wonder why I didn't look into it more but I don't know that the cruise ships were at the point where they were when I was in my 20s. I think about if you were to do, like, in your 20s, just other people in their 20s, mostly singles, on a cruise ship, that could get pretty interesting. But it wasn't a bad time. There was one time where we ended up we went to the club. They have like a nightclub on the ship. It's like above where the pool is. And we went there, and it was like, I'm excited for this. This is going to be interesting. And then we got in, and it was just like, you know what? I'm just too old for this shit. Like, I have no business being in this nightclub. We like housed our drinks and took off. It was like probably the quickest stint in a nightclub I've ever had. But yeah, again, I don't know that I'm like dying to get back on another cruise anytime soon, but maybe further down the road, where it's like, you have a partner and you can do all the various things and not have to keep half an eye or, half your attention on a child. So yeah, good times. So we got back, Friday morning. We had to get off the ship, and then we went to the airport, and it was going to be, my flight wasn't until the afternoon. I was like, I can't just sit in an airport all day with a 4-year-old dude. It's just like, come on, what are you thinking? And so I was able to get my flight switched. Thank you, JetBlue. It's amazing, like, how low the bar Spirit has set for me in terms of expectations, fulfillment, and satisfaction. They're just basic shit. The ability to go up there and switch a flight and have it take like 5 minutes and not have to cost an arm and a leg. Like, that's great. And so we were able to take the flight back, and get in at a fairly decent time. And yeah, so the next day after that, we got back from the cruise. I had a holiday party at a high school friend's place in Yardley, Pennsylvania. Even more food. She texted me all the list of food, and I was like, no. Can I just say no? Like, don't be offended, but no. I'm coming off literally like a 10-day binge of food where like everywhere I turn, it's just leftovers. It's just piles and piles of food, and I don't want it. No more food, please. But so I ended up going and eating, trying to like not binge. But there weren't so many drinks. I thought there would be more drinks. Not a huge party. There was only like 5 or 6 of us. And my one friend had to leave early because her child had like an inner ear infection, and then the other friend had to leave early because there was a play at the old high school we went to. And there was a parade. So we all got to watch the parade, and it was like, this is the town. This is like what I envisioned in my future back when I was like thinking about my future, like, and thinking about like what I would like, what would be great, my ideal, my preference, like all that shit. This is like what I would want. You're kidding me. We get to walk a block to the main street, and there's a friggin' parade, and you can drink, and no one really is gonna give you shit for it. And there's a lot of people, it's festive, and then you can just walk a block back to your house, and boom, that's it. Like it is like the quintessential idyllic environment, the way I pictured how my future would be. And then I overstayed my welcome. I stayed way too late. I got there at like 2 something, and I took an Uber because I'm like, I'm gonna drink. I don't have my daughter this weekend. She's gonna be with her mom, so I'm gonna drink. So I'm gonna take an Uber. And then no one else is drinking, and I felt like, ooh, like I don't. And there's not like drinks out and about. It's not like you can just go and like pour something from the keg or what have you. So I was like, I got my own head. I was like, I don't want to keep asking for drinks, and I like maybe this is just what I need to be. And so I seriously had like a epiphany or a revelation. I was just like, maybe I do just drink too much. That now all I can think about is like, why is no one else drinking? Why can't I drink? Should I ask for a drink? It's like, oh boy. But it still had I stayed late because it was just great conversation. My friend's husband has like story after story after story. And I wonder if it's just like he just unloaded all his best stories in one night, or if it's just like this guy's just a friggin' story factory. It was like every story he told was like, I mean, I don't believe it, but I do believe it. Oh, your buddy's parents owned a ranch, but they died in a plane crash. And so the son takes over the ranch, and he has a whole ranch to himself. Like, oh, okay. Like just insane stories. It was just, I mean, it was great. I was thoroughly entertained. I didn't bring anything to the table. Like I think I was just running on empty. And I think they wanted more out of me. Like they wanted me to like entertain them a little bit back. And I was just like, nope, sorry guys, this is the best you got. Like I'm coming off like a ridiculous amount of insanity, like a cruise followed by Thanksgiving. Like, no. So I eventually took the Uber back, but yeah, I can only imagine what they were thinking. Like, wow, so he's really fallen off to the wayside. I did have another date with a lady friend I've been on a date with before, and I won't go into details, but I will say this: I went to Sweetbriar in the city, and I was coming. It was a Friday night, so I go into the office to work now, and so my work gave me a backpack. It's a pretty nice backpack, North Face backpack. But I also have this like pretty nice, I don't know, Kenneth Cole. I don't know if it's Kenneth Cole, like a work satchel that I put my laptop in. I didn't think I could put the laptop in the backpack. So I brought the backpack with the work satchel to work. And then I was like, I don't feel comfortable leaving a lot of this stuff here. I might need it over the weekend. So I wore the backpack and the work satchel to the date. Okay. So that's 2 bags. way too many bags. Too many bags. So I get there before my date, which is like unheard of. And I order a filthy martini is what they called it. And it was top notch. Excellent choice. My date arrives. We go to our table and already awkward with the bags because it's like I got to put the bags somewhere and the table's not big and not a big area. And so I have the bags underneath my little area. And so I can't really like my legs keep kicking the bags. And it's just like, oh, this is a nightmare. And then because I had worked out that day and because when I work out, I decide that all my binge eating is justified. Like, because I got to replace all of those calories I lost, right? Even though it's not a ton because I don't work out that hard. I decided to order, without giving any thought to it whatsoever, chicken wings, ribs, Brussels sprouts. Literally 3 of the top worst foods you can order on a date. With someone that is like, you're trying to like convince them that you're not like this awful, sad person. You're like acceptable to society. Like that's just not what you can do it. Like if you've been and well, I don't know, maybe that's why I'm divorced because I thought I could still do that 4 years into the marriage. But yeah, wings, ribs, and Brussels sprouts, possibly the messiest and the like highest probability of disaster that you could have with a meal. The wings and ribs are just sloppy. The sauce over your face. The way you eat it, you look funny. You're going to get it all over, like you're going to look like a child. And you're going to look like, what's his name? Gustav from another Willy Wonka reference. Holy crap. Or was that the pie eating contest? Who was that fat kid in that pie eating contest? Was that Stand By Me? You remember that? He had like blueberry all over his face and then he ended up vomiting everywhere. I think that was Stand By Me. I could be completely wrong there. But that's what you look like when you try to go for wings and ribs. There's no clean way to eat wings and ribs in front of another person. Wings and ribs are to be eaten by a group of wolves, male alpha wolves, hunting in a pack. It's not meant to be eaten in front of someone that you hope to be romantic with. So, yeah, 3 mistakes all in a row, all bunched together, clustered. And then we ended up going to a hotel bar afterwards. Well, I guess we were connected. So it's weird. The restaurant was connected to a hotel, and then we went to a hotel bar afterwards. And I legit felt like I was in the John Wick movie franchise. Like that hotel, the Continental, I think it was called, or something like that. The drinks at this place were $25 a fucking pop. Come on, Manhattan. Come on, New York. You got to do better than that. $25 a pop. You want a drink? Round of drinks is $50 plus bucks. $60 for a round of drinks. 2 drinks. Good Lord. Was good though. I mean, the drinks were good. They're great. But like, let's just be a little like, can we just drop it down to like $19, $15? Like, I don't think you need the extra $10. Yeah, so we met up at 7 and then 1 o'clock started rolling around. And, I don't live in the city. I live in Princeton. And there is no express train that late at night. And the latest train is at 1:22. So if I miss that 1:22 train, I'm going to have to probably take a $1,000 Uber home. So I made a bead for it and caught that 1:22. And then I didn't get home till friggin' 3 in the morning, dude. 3 in the morning. Looking like I told my buddy over text, I looked like a homeless person. I had so many bags. You know how there are some homeless people that it's like everything they have in their lives, their life savings, like they're wearing every piece of clothing they've ever owned, right? They layer up, which is great. And then they have just bags on bags on bags because they're collecting stuff because it's like, what else you got, right? And that's exactly what I looked like getting on that train. Like bag of leftovers with the ribs and the wings and then Brussels sprouts. Because the Brussels sprouts, people will be like, what's wrong with the Brussels sprouts? Dude, if you aren't a fervent, adamant, avid Brussels sprout eater, you know the side effects that come along with that. It's like fart central, dude. Stink fest. Like, so hey, you want to make out with me? I know I'm covered in barbecue sauce and I'm farting like a maniac, but I'm your maniac, aren't I? So, got home at like 3:00 in the morning, slept till like 1 the next day. And then I had another holiday party at another high school friend's place that next day. It was, this guy lives in Newtown Square, Pennsylvania, which is like, I forget what they call it. It's some kind of alley or something like that, where it's like, these people have done well in life. They probably have a nest egg or 5. It's right by Villanova University. And I went to their holiday party last year, had an awesome time. I was severely underdressed last year. You'd think I would learn from my mistakes and dress up this year. No dice. I was severely underdressed yet again this year. Everyone looked so good in a cocktail attire, which I still can't wrap my head around, but like they pull it off and I don't. And this house, they have valet parking and Kardashian level type house with Kardashian level decorations, like just like unreal decorations everywhere. And I was able to reconnect with some high school friends, and they probably, I can only imagine like what their takeaways were from the evening, because it was like, not only am I severely underdressed, it was like, well, my wife's nowhere to be found. Am I, it's like, yeah, it was, they definitely were like, well, at least I'm doing better than that guy, that kind of situation. I brought some cigars, smoked some cigars on the back patio by myself for a little bit. And party was done by like midnight, which I thought, because last year's party, I could be completely wrong about this, but it felt like people were up and staying up late to like 1, almost 2 in the morning. This one, it was pretty much petered out and donezo by midnight. But you know me, I ended up staying up till 3 in the morning because I'm a psychopath and an idiot watching Married with Children. So stupid. So I ended up sleeping over, went to breakfast the next morning, got the monster burrito, obviously. This burrito was the size of my head, and I ate it all because I'm a piggy Jesus. My buddy had to pick up his dogs from the dog spa in case like you weren't, the message about, the valet, you missed the part about the valet parking and the Kardashian level decorations or any of that. Like if you missed any of that, they had to pick up his dogs from the dog spa. 2 of the smallest dogs I've ever seen and held. I thought the dog was shivering so hard that I thought it was going to spontaneously combust. I was worried about holding it because I was afraid I was going to literally crush it in my hand. I was just like, any sudden movement was just going to break all this dog's ribs. Dropped the dogs off at the house, and then we went to a sports bar to watch the Eagles decimate the Giants to the point where, it was bad. I have the Fly Eagles Fly fight song. Like I had it stuck in my head for a full 24 hours after that. Because it was like, well, there was like 7 touchdowns almost. So I had to hear that every 5 minutes. And I did not wear my Giants gear to the bar because I still value my life somehow, despite everything that's gone wrong. I still think I want to live. So I decided to not wear Giants gear. But it was, it was just one hell of a party for Eagles fans. This past Saturday had 2 kids parties that we went to. 2. First one was my daughter's classmate's 5th birthday party. It was at Sky Zone. And then the second party was a gingerbread cookie decorating kit party, where it's kind of smaller. Only a select few kids go over, and you bring your own cookie kit and you decorate it. And so we were up and at 'em early on Saturday, going to Target, picking up a gift and the cookie decorating kit. I have not. So I'm now 0 for 3 on cookie decorating kits. I don't know what is going on with these cookie decorating kits, but every time I pick one out, doesn't matter what box I pick, I think I'm going like to the back box, not the front box. Any box that looks damaged, I don't pick. I feel like I'm doing a fairly decent job of picking the right box. And every time I open these freaking boxes, the cookies are cracked. Damn it. No one else's cookies were cracked. Mine was broken. Anyway, first up was the fifth birthday at Sky Zone. So we go to Target to pick up the birthday gift. I initially was going to get the Magic 8 Ball. I was like, it's kind of old school. Maybe there's like making a comeback, it's retro. Maybe like a 5-year-old would be into it, ask a question, get an answer. Whoa, dude. And then I called an audible and I went with the Jurassic Park Lego set, which is significantly like 10 times more expensive, but I don't know, maybe the kid will appreciate it. We get to Sky Zone and the mother of the child is almost in tears and like doing that kind of sad smile thing where it's like trying to put on a happy face, but like there's a lot of pain in that smile. So she's like, yeah, my son woke up about an hour ago with a nasty fever and he's not going to be able to make it. So I was like, okay, this is interesting. This is a first. Kid's birthday party and the birthday boy not there. Interesting. But my daughter had fun. It looks like she might be getting into video games and arcade games, which, whoa, I'm excited about that. Like I ended up, ponying up. I put $20 on a card to, cause you need a card to swipe for the credits. And she was into like the motorcycle racing game, which I thought was interesting. And then she was into the car racing game, which was also interesting. And I was like, okay, you and me are going to go very slow when you're getting your driver's permit. We're just going to keep a close tabs on that whole, how that rolls out. Because I have a feeling that you're going to lose your license. And if you drive like your mother, you might... I don't know, you might not ever be allowed behind the wheel. So it was cool to see her get into that. But of course, like there's this huge, massive birthday party. It's all kids from her class, from her school. And she latches on and hangs out with this kid that's like not part of the party. Because there are other kids there, other parties there. So she like hangs out with this kid and is like, they're buddy. And the dynamic duo, like going through all these, rides and whatnot, or through the obstacle course, the little ninja obstacle course, trampolines, whatnot. And then it's time to like, all right, let's cut the cake. Let's like have some pizza and fries and ice cream in our private party room that we reserved. And like, my daughter's trying to bring this straggler, rando stranger into the party room. I'm like, I hate to do this, but you're not allowed. Like, I know this sounds elitist, but I don't think you're allowed. You're not part of this party. So that was a little awkward. And then I got to see her interact more with her quote unquote best friend from school, a boy. And I was like, oh no, Bree, that's not your best friend. Like I think you have a bit of a infatuation going on here. Like, I think you might have a borderline obsession. Like this is like swim fan type territory. This is single white female territory. Like this is stalkerish. Like I don't think he's responding positively to you saying hi 50 times in a row. But yet across the table was this dude, I think Vishnu, probably getting that name wrong. Little Indian kid, little boy. And he just was like all laughs and smiles and talking to my daughter. And I was like, maybe you should hang out with this kid seems cool. Like literally the kid that's your best friend has completely turned his back to you. Like you're talking to the back of his head. That's how much, I think he's not in on your friendship. But that was a good time. It was like 2 hours that we spent there. And obviously she wanted to stay longer and I was like, I don't think we're allowed to, but whatever. So we came back, I got some lunch because I was like, I can't do pizza, fries, and ice cream and then do pizza, fries, and ice cream. Like you can do it because I think you can burn it off, but I think that's going to end up storing around the mid-sec or, down by the anks for quite the period. So I'll just go home and like eat rabbit food. Party 2 is the gingerbread cookie decorating kit party. And the parents get way more into it than the kids, way more into it. Like I felt like I was constructing, I felt like Picasso meets name your favorite architect. Like it was just like, this is my design, my creation. I have a vision and I will see it through. The kids, they just end up eating all the candy and the frosting and the icing. They're just like, every time I, broke out of my artistic haze and, broke my laser focus, Bree's eating like all the little candies and frosting and all that good stuff. So, but good times had by all. We ended up ordering pizza, had a couple of slices of pizza, and had a few Christmas beers, which, I don't drink a lot of beer nowadays. I'm a hard seltzer guy and I get a lot of shit for that. And I'm going to take it because beers, they kind of tend to bloat. I bloat on the beers. But there's one type of beer that I cannot refuse, and it's Christmas beers. Mad Elf. I don't know if you've had Mad Elf. 11% alcohol by volume. You have one of those, and you are riding in Santa's sleigh. Rudolph is guiding the way. And there was also a Christmas ale, which wasn't too bad. It wasn't too shabby either. But I had to put the brakes on any more of that because I had to drive home. So we stayed late there, kind of too. Like we stayed late. And it was just like, oh, there's something, I just overstay my welcome because I don't, and this is how socially awkward I am. I just don't know how to, anytime I think about going for it and saying, all right, well, we're going to take off, like someone talks and it's like, I don't want, no. And then it's going to be awkward. It's like, I've never found a good time to be like, okay, I think we're going to take off. So I always wait. And I think a lot of people do this. They wait for someone else to be like, all right, we're going to take off. Someone who just friggin' always nails it. Like they always have the perfect timing. Like, all right, we're going to take off. It's usually like after a kid throws a hissy fit and like punches someone. You're like, all right, well, we should probably get going. And then I will piggyback on that. And I'll be like, okay, yeah, we're going to take off too. And it's like, that's perfect for me. So if the other couple is not saying that, it's like a game of chicken. I'm just like, all right, we're going to play the waiting game here. I'm waiting for you to make the move. And then I'm piggybacking on you. I'm drafting you, dude. And you're going to slingshot me home. So, that was kind of, there were plenty of times where I was like, I think we should go. Like, we should probably go. They probably want us gone, but I can't read people. I just can't. So if you're a party host, if you're the host of a party, like, I guess, unless you tell me to leave, like, I guess I'm living with you now. Like, that's just basically how that works. So, but they were awesome hosts. And I ended up missing the Vikings Colts game, that historic game. Caught a little bit of the Browns Ravens game. But goddamn, do I love Saturday NFL games. Saturday pro football games, especially in December, right around Christmas time. It's like, so nice. And that's why I'm going to love Giants Vikings tomorrow at 1. Oh my God, it's at 1 tomorrow. So yeah, Christmas. Why is Christmas going to be brutal this year? This is the first Christmas where I will not be with my daughter, which is tough. Last year I had custody of her, so I can't imagine what that was like for my ex, but I'm going to go through it this year. And it's just weird. Just freaking weird, dude. My parents stayed together. Probably shouldn't have. Maybe not. I don't know. I think my mom probably pushed for staying together for the kids, for us, and it benefited us possibly. But I'm just not used to this. This is just foreign territory for me. Like, we opened Bree's, my daughter's Christmas gifts like last night, Thursday, and like a full 3 days, before you're supposed to really. And I know last year she opened her Christmas gifts, some Christmas gifts from Santa, like Santa making special deliveries a full 2-3 weeks before Christmas. What are you doing, Santa? Huh? So it's just weird. It's just weird. And I have not been looking forward to this Christmas, but then again, I wasn't looking forward to the cruise and it turned out all right. So maybe this Christmas won't be so bad after all. And, at this point she doesn't know any better. Although she has experienced Christmas with the both of us. And I think she wants that. I mean, it's like every time she draws a picture, it's like, I'm going to draw my family. And like, I can't wait to have a sister. And it's like, oh boy, we might need to have a talk and recalibrate here. Because I feel like your expectations, They're not what they once were. So, I guess I'll get over it. It's been, we're going on now almost 2 years of knowing that divorce was in our future. And, you know, it's just tough to wrap my head around. I don't know that I'm ever going to get used to it because I had so many Christmases with all my family, and it wasn't split, and there wasn't 2 Christmases, 4 Christmases or whatever. So it's only gonna, I feel like it's only gonna get messier moving forward. And that is disturbing to me, and it's upsetting. But maybe it's just, I know what some people are saying. It's just a wrong point of view and perspective to have. You can't look at it that way. You just got to go with the flow and make it the best for her. And I think we have, for the most part. She enjoyed her gifts. She loved them. She ripped through all of them, all 6 or 7 of them in like record time. I want to say like a minute. It was just like, oh, but you didn't. She's like, oh, cool. I love this. This is so awesome. And then it was just like, boom, next gift. And I was just like, but you don't even know what that is. And you literally asked me what it is, and then you're on to the next gift. Can I explain what it is? But once I did explain to her, I think she did appreciate it and love it a lot. So, no, I mean, we'll see. I think she's too young to fully grasp and understand what's going on. She's asking a lot more questions about like, well, why won't you come over for Christmas? Why? Like, just come over to mommy's house for Christmas. Like, well, so paragraph 85, section 4, sub bullet 3 states that she has you on Christmas this year. Please refer to the document labeled marital settlement agreement. Yeah. So, yeah. Odds are I'm probably going to drink myself silly. And I'm going to try not to eat myself into oblivion. I feel like every Christmas I head into the new year a good 10 pounds heavier, and it's like not muscle. So, but we'll see. Maybe we'll work out some more over this break. And then I do get her back for New Year's Eve, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to approach that, make it feel like something, because I don't think she gets Christmas. I don't know if she gets New Year's Eve yet. So like years, days, months, like I got her a daily calendar as a Christmas gift. And I know you're saying, holy shit, that's fucking lame, Neal. God, you're the worst dad in the world. But like, I do feel like, and she did take to it. Like this morning, she was already playing with it. A daily calendar where it says the day, the year, the month, the season, the weather, like just to get her better at, time frames and whatnot. Cause like too many times she says, last night you yelled. And I was like, last night, what? And she means like last year, it's just like, all right, we got to get a handle on that. All right. So that was my holiday extravaganza episode. Trying to jam pack 5 or 6 weeks into an hour, and then we went an hour over. No surprise there. But I appreciate every single last one of you for sticking it out and listening to this rant and this ramble. It's a lot of stuff to take in and consume and digest. And I skipped a lot of shit for sure. So I'm probably going to catch heat for that, but maybe we'll do a bonus episode where like all the stuff I missed. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if we'll do an episode next week. I'm going to take my equipment down there just in case to record, but probably end up getting stupid loosey-goosey and just decide to ensconce myself in Christmas movies still. That Christmas tree I have up right now is not going down until February. There, I said it. All right, that's enough. That is enough. I wish all of you happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Festivus, which I think is today, and a Happy New Year, 2023. What the hell happened? I don't know. Maybe things are turning around. Maybe not. That's it. I don't know. I'm ever going to get used to this situation. I just don't think I am. But here's the hope. Love you guys. Mean it. Talk to you soon. Adios, muchachos.